עמוד א', למד א' עמוד א', זה אומר של אבותי וזה אומר של אבותי. So, quick brief of the Gemara, זה אומר של אבותי וזה אומר של אבותי. זה אומר של אבותי and he ate 3 years of chazaka. The other one has not 3 years of chazaka. The Gemara conclude that Uki Achila says Rav Nachman, Uki Achila lebead Achila, Uki Ara becheskat avata. So Achila and Achila cancel each other out, and we left with the edut of the avot, and therefore the karka are going to go to the one who has the edut of the avot. Amar le rov veha edut mukhasheti, it's a contradicted edut. Amar le nidi itkash ba'achila, be'avata lo itkash. True that achila is mukhash, ahavata lo mukhash. Since ahavata lo mukhash, I can still remain with the edut of the ahavata. The Gemara not try to compare the machloket of Rov and Rav Nachman to the machloket of Rav Huna and Rav Chisda. When you have two kitim who testified and they were makhishim, contradicting each other, they are pasul for the Koren edut. However, future edut, Omar Rav Huna, zu ba bifnei atzma ve'meida, vezu ba bifnei atzma ve'meida. Each one can testify on future later eduyot. Omar le Rov ve'a edut mukhasheti, it's a contradicted edut. No. Omar Rav Chisda, I'm sorry. Be'ad isad ishakri, lama li? What did he lie for? I don't deal with him. If so, Rav Nachman who holds that Viken is believed, he holds like Rav Huna, and Rove holds like Rav Chisda, they are not believed. The Gemara says yes. Alibe the Rav Chisda konam elo pligi that Rav Nachman cannot hold like Rav Chisda. Ki pligi alibe the Rav Huna. Rav Nachman כרב הונה, ורוב אומר לאחד כאן, when I said he's not believed to the same עדות, אבל עדות אחרת נאמנים. The question that we asked, basic question we asked, and both that's what Tosfos seems to ask later, how can you compare our case to that case? Our case, it's only one case, and over there it's 2 cases. What's the comparison between one to the other? This is a general question. Now let's read Tosfot. Should we do it inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside? Okay. So it says Tosfos. Omar le'rove veha edut mukhasheti. Frek Tosfos teimer, amay have edut mukhashet והרוב היתלה במרובה ובפרק זה בורר דעת זומן מכאן ולהבא הוא נפסל ולא מפסל אלא מפסל דעת כחוש. So the Gemara says in Bobe Basre, when Ed Zomem is pasul. So the case is, and this is important to have the details so we can work it out, Bezrat Hashem. So if Edim Eidu Benisan that Reuven owes Shimon money, and they got the Huzmu Be Tishrei, are they pasul from Tishrei, the day they were Muzamim, or they pasul from Nisan, the day that they testified? Abaye Amar lemafrea unifsar, they pasul from the day that they testified. Rove Omar, no, meaning from Nisan, according to Abaye, and according to Rove, no, mikan velaba unifsal. Since they were Muzamim on Tishrei, from Tishrei and on, there will be pasul. The Gemara explained the svara of Rove, 2 reasons for Rove. Reason number 1, because Ed Zomem chidushu. Since you have 2 and 2, why do you rely on the second cut of Edim instead of the first one? It's a special chidush of the Torah. So this chidush is limited to Tishrei. Second reason the Gemara brings, because of Pseida de Lekochot. The issue that we have, if you're going to say they are pasul already from Nisan, everybody using them for transactions from Nisan until Tishrei, they're going to lose their transaction. And it cannot enact proper market like that because people will lose their money and it's not at their fault. So Chachamim made special takana because of Pseida de Lekochot, the psul will be only from Tishrei. Mikan velehaba unifsal. So Tosfot ask now, Teima veha amaya vedut veha, why it's considered edut mukhashet? Since Rove hold that et zomem mikan velehaba unifsal, which means only from the moment that he was proven wrong, this is when he's going to be pasul. So in our case, we have edut number 1 of avot, and the second edut was chazaka. Frektes vesivu muzam only on the chazaka. Robe hold mikan velehaba unifsal. If so, why would Robe make him pasul on the edut of avotav? Says Tosfos, even if you hold the zomem chidushu, like the first lishna of the Gemara over there, I can understand. Because there are differences between hazama to הכחשה. הזמה means imanu הייתם, you the edim were with us. הכחשה, we contradicting into the facts. He said the love did it, and the other said love were with us. So therefore he says Rove. Although, says Teisves, although that Rove hold that mikan velabo nifsal, if the reason is because the edim zomemim are chidush, so this strict chidush by hazama, mikan velaba. But hakchasha, we're going to say that is muzam already lemafrea. So since we're saying that is muzam already lemafrea, therefore, by hakchasha we'll say muzam lemafrea, and we have no question over here. But for Teisves, leman de'amar, zaku baruch. So Teisves, leman de'amar, edim zomemim, leman de'amar is because of pseida de lekochot. The logic of pseida de lekochot should apply either, תודה רבה, שבת שלום. The logic of pseida de lekochot should apply either by edim zomemim or by edim mukhashim, because you face the same issue. You have lekochot, pseida de lekochot, they are losing money. So in fact, if the issue is pseida de lekochot, it should be, according to Rove, the psul should be, if the issue of pseida de lekochot should begin only by the moment of the edut. Previously, nothing should be pasul. So this is the question, the bump question of Tosfot. How can Rove, who hold mikan velabo nifsal because of pseida de lekochot, is going to hold by us and nifsal lemafrea? Tosfot trying to bavorn a question. Don't tell me that here we have no pseida de lekochot. Since we have no pseida de lekochot over here, therefore it's going to be pasul even lemafrea. Why? Because by the case of
we don't have pseida de lekochot because it's the same statement.
Right.
It sounds like 6 months apart.
Yeah, exactly. The proof of Tosfot that even if you don't have pseida de lekochot, you are saying even if you don't have pseida de lekochot, says Tosfot, you're still going to say mikan velehaba or nifsal. What's the raya? Number one, the Gemara didn't bring it as a chiluk over there, but the most important one, we see by gneva and aveda, by gneva and tvicha, that even though it was muzam on tvicha, on the gneva is not muzam. Lama is not muzam on the gneva. You have no issue of pseida lekochot because the testimony was one run after the other. And although mugzam only on the gneva, only on the tvicha, and the gneva is going to be believed, you have no pseida de lekochot. So you see, for me, even if you hold that is because of pseida de lekochot, you still gonna say that mikan velavo nifsal, which bring a kasha and argumore. How can you say mikan velavo nifsal? Mikan velamafreya lefi Reuven. So Tosfot says, therefore, we need to cut off this piece out of the Gemara. Unbelievable statement, right?
We say mishum chidush. But it's mishum chidush.
No. If you hold pseida de lekochot, then we have to cut off the piece of the Gemara by us.
Because then you don't have chidush.
Rava can't say two contradiction statements.
The migu before the answer.
No.
What migu? It's a migu.
Migu the first.
Migu.
What migu?
Says that we don't hold like Rava.
In the end of the end, it says amigo.
Now, you vote first?
Yeah.
No. Migu is just, he gives 3 answers.
Migu.
We don't hold like
Yeah,
Rava,
migu.
therefore we don't really care. But everything
You
we just said.
remember should do kind of like a Rava.
No, the question of Rav Nachman. I'm sorry, I skipped. You're talking about the question of Rav Nachman.
No.
That's the answer on Rav Nachman. He asked for Rav Nachman to Isfasas. According to Rav Nachman, why we say Rav Nachman cannot hold like Rav Chizda? Maybe he can really hold like Rav Chizda.
This is b'shum inyan.
Yes, because Mikan Ulaba Unifsal, therefore, when Rav Chizda said his pasul is Mikan velehaba. When Rav Nachman said that his pasul, it's only leota edut. But he says no. But le'aloche, we see that we don't hold like Rava, rather we hold like Abaye. Since we don't hold like Rava, we cannot use Rava technique.
Hold like Rav Nachman.
No, we don't hold like Rava, we hold like Abaye. So Rav
In
Nachman
that case,
cannot use Rava's opinion that Mikan velaba unifsal because we don't hold like Rava. Aloche kavos de Abaye beyael kagam.
You can answer both questions.
Huh?
So the first question also. It's really the same question, the first and second question of Tesla. It's just a different way of it playing out.
No, I agree with you.
So his first answer is that Rava over there, we don't hold like, so it's not a question. We hold like a bio says the mafreya on himself.
Yeah,
So
that's
everything
answer only
makes
on
sense.
Rav Nachman.
He doesn't
That's
need to
not the
fit
answer
that
on
too.
Rava. That's
Right.
only answering Rav Nachman. But Rava, you have a problem. That's his own
You
opinion.
still have a question, Rava
On
on
Rava.
Rava.
so that's a question on Rav Nachman actually.
Yachon. He
Because
has
it's
two
a
questions.
mafreya.
Question on Rava. And Rav Nachman, maybe you hold like Rava. Komash Manon, he doesn't hold like Rava.
Can't hold like Rava because Rava says mikan ulaba.
No, but you can hold it. Bemet Mikan Ulaba, but this is Ota Edut. That's why I'm Machmir over here. But he said we don't hold like Rava, therefore, we hold like Abaye. So it must be למפרע, not מכאן ולהבא.
And now that's a question on Rav Nachman.
Yeah, we'll ask it. מצוין. So, okay, so before we get to Riva's answer, are we clear on the steps?
Yeah.
Why did the odd kasha come in? What was the point of that?
Akasha also on Rav Nachman. Why, according to that, why Rav Nachman doesn't hold?
Which is Beshuminyan. Like, we didn't ask that over here, Beshuminyan.
Side point, another question.
It's a side point.
No, an additional question. Maybe Rav
Okay,
can-
it
if
makes
Rav Nachman
sense.
don't like Rav. I want to continue
Okay,
a bit early. So I just want to go back through the steps of Tosfos and ask the questions on Tosfot. Tosfot begin and he says that Leman de'amar et zomem chidushu, we have no question. What I don't understand is the following. In every et zomem, you have also et mukhash. So even if you said that et zomem chidushu, by the end of the day, this edut, it's also mukhashet. And still we're saying, mikan velehaba unifsal. So why Tosfot hold that if you hold that et zomem chidushu, en baya, this problem should be remain.
Who's in Edzomen? There's a Mukhash. I mean,
Call et zomem, what he's saying, the information you gave, it's incorrect.
but it's not on the information, it's on the Edim.
By
but
default,
it's-
is
And it
Mukhash.
doesn't even say that.
אתה צודק, but he's מכחיש the מציאות. He's also, he said that you're not good, and also the information that you gave, it's incorrect because you weren't there. So in every azama, there is a kasha. If in every azama there is a
They're
kasha,
not saying the
then it's
information
not an
is wrong. The
answer.
information might be right. We
No,
just you
it
for
can't
sure
be.
weren't
If
there.
you were with us, the information is incorrect.
No, not necessarily. It could be right. You
Because
just weren't
they
there.
said we
You
saw-
can't testify because
They
you don't
said
know.
we saw on Sunday, Reuven borrow money from Shimon. And if you're telling him you were with us Sunday over there,
Maybe he's still
Therefore,
maybe
then-
he's still giving the money. I
so
just
the
didn't see that.
information that you gave is incorrect. You said you saw something. If you said you saw, but you were with us, you didn't see it. So you gave the wrong
Doesn't
information.
necessarily mean
That might have maybe Reb Bemet did give money to Shimon. What
We
the
don't know
Edim
that
are
though. We
saying
don't know that though. We don't know that.
exactly, but they're not saying that's not true. They're saying simply that. I mean, that might have happened. Just these two Edim are not the right people to say that because they were with us. So maybe that did happen. So we're not being makrish that. Maybe that did happen. Maybe Reuven did.
No, but
invite
again,
Shimon.
but when they, very information they gave us that it happened, they proved them wrong. Because they said we saw it, and that didn't happen for sure. So that you have a chasha on that information.
Not
In
information.
regular
It's
halacha,
one
you have the
day.
same question.
Huh?
Maybe
It's
no
one day.
two witnesses
נכון,
are going to
but
come
it's
and say
also
that it
the
happened.
information.
Send their information מכאן ולהבא. So therefore what?
Right.
They said-
So therefore,
See.
why is that an
This is
answer?
cancelled.
That mikan velava unifsal, it's an answer. Chidushu, every chidush also says mukhashet, and yet mikan velava unifsal. So why would you say that it's a specific din le'ed zomem? That din should apply also for edut mukhashet. Second question, Tosfos answer that according to the Lishna that it said that the lekochot. No, okay, that we asked it already. Okay, Tosfos said since according to Pseda del Kochot, Tosfot was trying to Bavarian, don't think that by us there is no Pseda del Kochot. I have a raya from Tvicha veGneva that even over there that there is no Pseda del Kochot, still Rove hold that Mikan velehaba unifsal and not lemafreya. Okay, that's Tosfot. So Tosfos basically need to explain what's going on over here. If usually in the Gemara we have Exera, because of Pseda del Kochot. Now you have no Pseda del Kochot. Tosfos bring a riot from the Gemara that even though there is no Pseda del Kochot, still Mikan velehaba. The question is why? If you hold that there is no Pseda del Kochot, okay?
Lo plu.
Huh?
Lo plu.
No, but the Gemara bring a lot of nafkeminis in all cases. You know, it doesn't mean lo plug. The Gemara bring nafkeminis. You know, nafkeminis, the two nafkeminis of Gemara, would you say lo plug? You say kibel masar ve'alach, right? You know the question. You know, you get in one. Every time when the Gemara says lo plug, there is a special reason for the lo plug. If the takana is because of pseda del kochot, and by gneva and tvicha you have no pseda del kochot, why would the Gemara? What did the Gemara would say that even in such a case you're going to say that mikan velabo nifsal? If the takana is pseda del kochot, if you have no pseda del kochot, you have no takana. All of the takanot of Chazal usually applies when it's applicable. If you're not applicable, you have no takana. So how come Tosfos bring the Gemara? I mean, this question really on the Gemara. Why the Gemara, if it's pseda del kochot, said that mikan velabo in a case of no פסדר לקוחות, which is by גנבה and
Why did
טביחה.
the Gemara over there bring down?
Is the
the
question
Asana
really over
Tefillah?
there? Yeah, exactly. Why over there, when there is פסדר לקוחות, it's not on the גנבה טביחה?
So you're asking why in the Meruba case?
If you hold it
Why
because
you're
of
not gonna
פסדר
say?
לקוחות, yeah, the
And there's no Pseder Lekochot over there.
Yeah, the din over there, that even though he says מכאן ולהבא הוא נפסל.
כן, כי
Like the
תוספות
question
says,
stands.
ולא
What's the
נפסל
logic
אלא
behind it?
משעה דעות קרש.
נכון, question is why. If the reason is פסדר לקוחות, you should stick to פסדר לקוחות. If not פסדר לקוחות, you should have a problem.
She's saying that's a kasha.
And we don't say lo plug, like you said.
Next one, אומר רב נחמן, so they said,
No?
so now in terms of Rav Nachman, that's unbelievable.
You don't say.
Rav Nachman says, Rav Nachman hold, we asked a question of Rav Nachman, maybe Rav Nachman can hold like Rav Chisda. Asked us what, and only in our case we don't say like Rav Chisda because it's the same case. Bishenken over there, we hold Mikan, Veleaba or Nifsal. So therefore, in future cases will be Pasul like Rav Chisda. On the same case, we're not going to be Pasul. This first answer, no. Lo Kaimalan ke Rave. This is unbelievable. If you don't hold like Rave, who do you hold like? Abaye. Abaye is much more machmir than Rave, נכון? If Abaye hold that למפרע או נפסל, why bias is not believed?
Why by us is Rav saying believe?
Yeah, is believed bias. If Rav Nachman holds that Mikan, this question is question of Nissim. Nissim asked me the question. If you hold that Mikan ולאבא הוא נפסל, if you don't hold that מכאן ולאבא הוא נפסל, what Rav Nachman will hold? למפרע או נפסל. אם למפרע או נפסל, כל שכן this should be פסול over here. Why Rav Nachman said that it's going to be believed?
No, רב נחמן holds מכאן ולאבא.
The Tosfos says you cannot say מכאן ולאבא.
רב נחמן can
Oh,
say.
the halacha is like Abaye. But if the halacha is like Abaye, then we have, it's much more of a reason that for Rav Nachman to hold that is pasul on the edut. If you hold the mafreah nifsal. Now let's go into the answer of Rivo. Rivo brings a very unbelievable answer. I said clear. I'll try to say it
Can
clear
you
for you
read
guys.
it? Can you read it inside? Just the river.
Okay,
Just
says
the
the
river.
Rivo. The Rivo אמר, ולריבו נראה, דלא דם יח דאחה להאי דמרובה. דעתם, גנבה וטביחה, תרי מילנינו. Over there, גנבה וטביחה has two different things.
What does that mean? Two different things, though.
Two different actions.
Actions.
ולאחי, and therefore, הגנבה דלא ייזום, לא ייזום. כיוון דלאבא הוא נפסל. So over there, it's two different actions. It was מוזם on the טביחה, not on the גנבה, so we have no problem. אלא אחא, ביאס, כי יתכחוש האכילה, יתכחוש נמי אהבתה. When the edim are מתכחש on the אכילה, because of the second edim, they are מוכחש also in the אהבתה. למה? באהבתה בלא אכילה לא מעני. Meaning, it's not two different cases, because ahavata without edut on achila, it's not going to work. Why ahavata without achila is not going to work? If he would have only edim on avata, I would have given it to the guy of the avot. Lama? The it lesadei the achala shne chazaka. The other one has the edut of shne chazaka. The Ne'eman lomar, so if there would be only a dim of avot, and the other one will have a dim of chazaka, it's not going to be believed. Why?
Which
avot
one?
levad,
Which one's not going to be believed?
the one of the avot.
Why?
Because the Ne'eman lomar, הייתה של אבותה יום אחד, the one who has the other guy of
The guy who has a
חזקה,
chila.
has במיגו, והיבה ימה מנח זבינתה. So he explained, he said, the other one, since he said, by Gneva and Tvicha, it's two different things. You have one act, and then you have another act. By us, the act of Avotai, it doesn't work by itself. Lama? Because if the other guy has a din for Chazaka.
How?
Huh?
How does everything chazaka? It's muchkash.
That's the case, huh? You're asking good. But so, yeah, I'm saying the pshat of the spot first.
Oh.
So since the other one has the din of Chazaka, your avotai, when you eat avotai, it's not enough. Because of the din of Chazaka, he has a migo that he could have said that he was shel avotav, that he bought it from you, bemigo that he bought it from you. So therefore, since he has a migo, and he could have won by it, so your avotai won't be enough. Since your avotai won't be enough, it's not considered as an action by itself. By Gneva and Tvicha is two separate actions. Each one will be mechayevim. By us, the Avutai will not be mechayevim.
So the migo's connecting it?
What?
The migo makes the bridge between them two and makes it that
Between-
they want to do it? Because
So-
he has a migo.
No, so it just shows that Avutai is not good enough. By Avutai without chazaka, yeah, Avutai, Avutai without chazaka is not good.
If
There's a
Exactly.
guy-
migo,
Rabbi.
if we don't say migo, right? So
Then
it
Avutai would be good.
It'll be two different witnesses.
Yeah, then Avutai will be good. Since this guy has the dut of chazaka, therefore, it's not enough for the dut of the Avot. It's so
Yeah, the
hard.
same thing on the Geneva.
It's so hard to explain Tosfot, what he said, and not to say the question yet, and not to give my pshat yet. I'm trying to be very...
Can I say?
huh? Yeah, to the point.
So
So-
this is for what's his name? This Rabbi Riva. So he's saying that it's connected because if this guy only has the avota, then he only has a taina. He has a valid
He had
taina.
only the Avotah.
Now this guy-
No, he doesn't say that. That's what Tosfot said. Tosfot said the Avotah will not be good enough because the guy of the Chazakah will knock him off through a migo. So therefore, Avotah is not an action by itself. You do need the edut of.
Even though the other guy
You
is
don't need
now-
the
a chazaka
Chazakah.
b'li ta'ana also.
Okay, so now.
This guy has
Yeah, one
just a
second,
taina.
Shlomo,
He's a chazaka
רגע,
שיש עם
רגע,
מתנה.
that's all. זה הפשט בתוספות. The question on תוספות is number one, מה ששאל יגאל. תכלס, הוא זוכחש, מה אתה אומר לי עכשיו חזקה?
Who's ukhash?
You have to understand, it's very important when you're learning. First, get the pshat and then put it as a question. If you mix the question with the pshat, then you have no pshat. That's why it's difficult. So this is the pshat on Tosfot. The question on Tosfot are the following. Number one, מה שיגאל שואל. If תכלס by the end of the day, העדות פה הוכחשה. אם העדות הוכחשה, סתם אבותיי, would we believe? Yes. אז מה הבעיה פה?
No, you just said it's not going to be believed.
Huh?
You just said it's not going to
Yeah,
be
but that's
believed.
my question now. That was the pshat of Tosfot. The question
It's not a
of Tosfot
question.
is- Huh?
It is a
If
question.
he's going to be believed, that's not a question.
But Tosfot said we
Asking
gave it to the other
Tosfot
guy
said
because
that
of
he will
Migu.
be believed. So I'm asking on Tosfot, how can you tell me that Chazaka will be believed when we have a contradiction actually on the other side of another Edim of Chazaka?
Edim of Tana.
Huh?
Edim of Tana.
What?
Edim of Avutai.
נכון, that's a
Okay.
taina. Now this
No,
guy
but
has a...
this guy has also Edim of Chazaka. So this Edim Chazaka contradict the other one Edim of Chazaka. So how can you use their
Anybody's
Edut
showing
of
it's never
Chazaka?
Avata.
Huh?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
anybody's showing it's avata. 'Cause he has-
Yeah, if you want to look at it, you cannot look on the Avata and the Edim.
Or if you're
with
applying this into our case, then...
eliminating his own chazaka,
okay.
right? You got to, if you add the chazaka, add everything together, and if not, if you have only edim, what's remain on the table, only on edut avata, edut avata is edut by itself. Edut avata, it's good enough. That's the halacha lemaisa. Avata, we're taking it out. If you go to bed, the guy says I have edut of avot. מה הדין? מה הדין? שלו. So it's a separate case. מה הוא אומר? You know what bothered me the most? We said before in the Gemara, we don't say מיגו במקום עדים. מה קורה פה?
No, but you could change that. You said you could fix up his words when he's.
No, but
Didn't say that.
I don't say that.
It doesn't
It
say
cannot say migo that I bought it from you. We don't say. That's the conclusion of the Gemara. How can we have such
No,
a
I think-
migo?
No, he's saying in a general case. In a general case, when you just have
Shlomo,
edim of avot.
read it. I don't want to argue on it, but that's how I learn. It's
No, he's
migo במקום
explaining
עדים.
why is
Okay,
avot
thank you,
not
man.
going to...
מי יכול לחזור?
בסדר,
Take out
בסדר,
the
אתה יכול לחיות עם
שיש
השאלה,
לו
בסדר.
עדות על
וייטר. The last part of Tosfot is ומי הוא? That's very hard to understand. I had to open my Yetzer HaChochma, to be honest, to get the pshat on it. So ומי הוא? הקטי דחשיב לה בגמרא כעדות אחרת, לא עתי שפיר. So says Tosfot, you Rivo, saying it's considered as one edut. But the Gemara, when the Gemara compared it to the machloket of Rav Nehuna and Rav Chisda, it's really two separate eduyot. If according to you is one chol and one edut, you cannot be compared b'chlal to the Gemara. So that is pshat of, that's the kashi of Tosfot, or the pshat of the Rivo.
I didn't understand that question.
The kasha is, later on we see it's two separate cases. We compared it to two separate cases.
Or if they're
For
edim on this
another
case,
edut.
can
Yeah,
they be edim?
exactly. So how can you tell me it's one case? Then you have no comparison later. So to summarize in 1 minute the question, the main question. Question number one, if you hold the zama, you still have a problem, it's considered mukashet as well. And if so, why leman de amar that chidushu, it's not going to be a question. Question number two, if you hold that because takana, the lekochot, why in a case it's one next to the other that you have no reason for the kochot, you still keep the takana? Question number 3, according to Rav Nachman, if he doesn't hold like Rav, he hold like Abaye, therefore lemafreya nifsal, im lemafreya nifsal, how come? Then for sure it should be pasul in the edut. And the question on 4 on the Rivo, 2 questions. Number 1, Rivo, how can bring me achila of the other guy when he's being contradict? And how can you tell me that? How can you tell me a migo when we see the Gemara very clear? Migo b'mo komedim lo amrin. So you can follow me say the Shmaya. The reason machlekes between Abaye and Rove, we're going back to the Gemara. If it's zomem lemafreya or nifsal, or mikan velabo or nifsal. What's a machlekes? Both of Abaye and Rove holds that edut it's giving information. What's edut? I saw this happen. So therefore, when Edim comes to Beis Din, we have information being given into Beis Din. They said he borrowed money from him in Rosh Chodesh Nisan. The Azama was on Tishrei. Says Abaye, when the Edim Azimim in Tishrei, what they are saying, the information you gave us on Nisan are incorrect. So when it should be Pasul? From Nisan. So therefore Abaye hold lemafreya or nifsal. Rove said you're right. It's on the information. But we have a special element. Edim zomimim chidushu. Meaning, we're starting it. Edim zomimim, the whole chidush of edim zomimim, why you believe one more than the other? Because edim zomimim, they are not testifying bechlal, they're not dealing with the information. They are dealing with the edim to make them pasul. Since I'm dealing with the edim, there is no reason for it to be pasul bechlal, mikan veleaba. The pasul is only from now on. If they can contradict the information, I'm going to make them pasul for the time when I receive the information. But if I'm making this edim into heftzeh of psul, they are pasul people. So I'm testifying on today. You are people who are not trustworthy. I'm not testifying on the information. So when you all ed zomem chidushu, you have no problem. That's why mikan velehaba unifsal. Second pshat on Rove, takana pseda de lekochot. Ma pshat? You write that edim are testifying information. You write they should be pasul from Nisan. Why is it not pasul from Nisan? Special takana. You can have a market that, for a certain, all this time, people who did contract, they're going to lose their money. So therefore, Chachamim made a special takana of pseida de lekochot.
The second answer doesn't argue with the first.
Right? So let me finish. One second. So now, says, they're both all the same thing. Both of them information. Come to Isfes, and he says, by the way, if we hold because of akhasha, you have a problem over here. Because what do we have over here? The Edim are giving 2 separate information. Information number 1 is Shel Avotav, and the second information is
חזקה.
שאכלה שני חזקה. יפה מאוד. ממילא says this, if you do have those pieces of information coming together to the table, if you're going to hold like that Edim Zomemim Chidushu, I have no problem. Because if it's Zomem, I'm not dealing with the information. I'm dealing with the Edim. The Edim are Pasul. It's going forward. But if you learn it because of Pseida de Lekochot, if they're testifying on the information, and if it's Pasul on one, according to Rava, it shouldn't be Pasul on the rest. Because if you have 2 pieces of information, and if it's Nifsal on the second information, it shouldn't be Pasul on
The first one.
the first information. So that's a question of Tosfos and Rava. If you are because of Pseida de Lekochot, there is no reason you're going to be Pasul on the information that we're giving prior to the information that were Mukhashon. Says Tosfos, but hold on. Here we have no Pseida de Lekochot. Since we have no Pseida de Lekochot, so we have no reason we can say they are Pasul throughout the time. Says Tosfos, I'm going to give you a raya from Tficha and Mechira that it's not, according to Rava, it's not about the information. according to Rav, edim are testifying results. When edim comes to Beidin, the Rav hold they're not giving information. They're giving me result. What the results are? He owes them money. Although they're doing it through information, but in fact they are giving me results. So therefore Rav holds, when Chachamim says, because of the takana of Psedat HaLekachot means that I don't look at it bechlal when the second pair, they're not testifying on the information of the first pair. They are testifying a new result as of Tishrei. You had a result on Nisan. We're saying as of Tishrei, he doesn't owe him any money. So they are not testifying bechlal on the first cut on the information. They're testifying on today. There is a new din that came out to the world from the Edim today that he doesn't owe him money. So therefore, I have no reason bechlal to be posel them from Nisan. If they testifying information, so they saying today that what you said in Nisan, that Reuven borrowed money from Shimon. No, Reuven didn't borrow money from Shimon. They contradict the information. Bias, according to Rove, they're making a new result. You made a result that he needs to pay money. We are making a new result that he doesn't need to pay money. We're not dealing with information. So therefore, when the new result come into the world, this is the moment they are become pasul. Only when the result came to the world.
That's
Clear the difference in information and so according to Abaye lemafrea, because if the information, if on Tishrei I got opposite information, the edim are when they give the information they become pasul. According to Rava, on Tishrei I didn't get opposite information. I got a new din. They made a din that Reuven owes money to Shimon. And on Tishrei, I got a new paradise saying that Reuven doesn't owe money to Shimon. So on Tishrei, they brought new reality to the world by saying that Reuven doesn't owe money to the Shimon. This new reality begins today. So only today they're contradicting the Edim. They're not contradicting them from the information when the information date. Therefore, Rove hold that Mikan velehaba unifsal. So therefore, says Teisves, since Rove hold that it's a din on the result, let's see bias. Bias, we have two separate results. If you would have said Shel Avutai, what will be the din? What will be the result? Belong to him. If you would have said just Achalash Ne Chazaka, what will be the result? It's belong to him. So bias, the din testify on two different results. If they testify on two different results, the din should be two different results. The din should be that only on the second result they are pasul, but the previous result it should be kasher.
Why?
How come Rove holds? What?
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why would it be that the second result is pasul and this first result is kasher?
Because it's two separate things. Like Gneva and Tvicha. You compare it to Gneva and Tvicha. By Gneva you have a result that he owes kefel for the Gneva. You have a result that he owes arba v'chamisha for the Tvicha. It's two different results. So if you hold it by two different, even by two different results, according to Rav, Mikan when it's two different results, Mikan vele haba or nifsal. In our case, that we have two different results.
Okay.
We have the result of Abutai, and that will be belong to him, and we have the result of Chazaka that will be belong to him. Both two different results. The din should be Mikan vele haba or nifsal, and therefore it should be believed on the edut of Abutai. Why, according to Rav, they are not believed on the edut of Abutai? Says Rivo, you have a mistake. It's not two different results. Why? Says Rivo, Lu Yitzuyer, when are you defining it as the result? As the result? By the moment they testify. So if I leave now their edut without the halacha decision, okay? Of Rav and Rav Nachman. Okay? So what do I have in front of me? I have Avutai and Chazaka, and I have a Chazaka. We leave everything on the table, נכון? Now, can the Avutai go against the Chazaka?
Yes.
No,
Because
because Chazaka is a migo.
Oh, the amigo isn't represented.
So says the
Why
Revo.
isn't father good enough?
Yeah.
Why don't it good enough? It's
What?
Why can't Abbasai be good enough?
For the amigo.
So that's why. If Avutai is good enough by itself, we have a problem. Then it's two different results. Says the Revo, it's not two different results. Since Avutai, at this point, you're right that Avutai in general on different cases can work by itself. But in our case, what do we have? We have Avutai, Chazaka, and Chazaka. In our case, can Avutai work by itself? No, I have amigo. So how the Avutai works today? With the Chazaka. So it's not two different results, it's the same result, it's one result. Avutai and Chazaka are together.
But it's mukhash.
So therefore,
there's no
by us, it's one result. By Gneva and Tvicha is two separate results. So you cannot compare one to the other. When Rava said that Zomeh Mikan Velaba Unifsal, when you have two different results. But when Rava says, in our case, it is one result. Why it's one result? Because in our case, Avutai and Chazaka, and the other one Chazaka, without making it Mukhashim, without touching it, when you take the information as is, this information coming to Bedin, can Avutai works over here? No, because he has Chazaka. The Chazaka is amigo. What? What?
He has tiny, it's not.
It's not a taina. He said it was his father. You didn't see where he bought it from.
He has amigo.
No, he said it's mine. No. של אבותיי זה חתוק שיש עם התיינה, it's mine.
Oh, can you explain
No,
to
but
me?
the Gemara said later on, he has
It's Chazaka Sheni my taina.
Migo
or it's
Makamedi.
No, he
Migo
said
Makamedi.
it's mine, I got it from my father.
It's Migo
That's-
Makamedi.
He has
Other guys
to
have-
reclaim. He didn't reclaim
מה אתה
over
אומר?
here.
He didn't
בגמרא
reclaim-
קומדים, I'll talk about it in a second.
But how do you
But-
want?
If somebody
that's
says
the
של
normal
אבותיי,
case of any Chazaka Sheni my taina, he should have amigo.
no, but again, הוא חזק שאין מתיינה over here.
Second guy, Mopsa.
Second guy, he's never said that he bought it from his father. This guy has
I know,
witnesses.
so
he bought it
no,
from
we're
his
asking
father.
how come he has the migo. I'll answer that migo in a second. Why the migo works, we'll do it in a minute.
How does he hold
But the
this one
structure,
result? How does he hold this one result? I don't understand that.
Huh?
I don't get this.
How does Rava hold this one result?
because Avutai, when we have this information in front of us, Avutai wouldn't win the other guy.
Okay,
Because the other guy has chazaka.
therefore
So the only way Avutai wins is only with the achila, נכון?
Okay.
So therefore it's not one, it's not two
It's
different
one,
results,
so
it's
it's
one.
one.
That's why it's one result.
Ah.
Therefore one result by us is one result, so Rove holds everything is pasul. By Gneva and Tvicha it's two different results.
I got you.
Over there it can work למפרע. So I just want to finish that part of
Before-
the migo. No, that's חשוב, נסיים. Why we have how can we say migo?
לא יודעים.
We said in the Gemara before, we don't say מיגו, נכון? מיגו במקום עדים לא אמרינן. Who said מיגו במקום עדים לא אמרינן?
רבו. אביי.
Abaye. What's Abaye hold? What's the הכחשה?
הפרעה?
It's information. According to Abaye, edut means I testify facts. I'm not testifying results. So therefore, if I testify fact, and he comes and he has migo against the fact, don't work. It's migo b'mokom eidim. But here, Rove hold that you testify result. That's not facts. You don't testify what happened. You testify that he owes him money. On that, you can say migo b'mokom eidim.
Edim is the right.
Huh?
Edim is the right.
Then, still migo also. I mean, it could be.
Because the right.
No, Migo's not.
Ramban.
Okay, but that's not our topic.
He wasn't here for that.
This is a general-
That was Ramban, remember?
No, no,
So Torah
no.
many
no,
times. Now
Rabbi is
code?
arguing. It's a
Migo's not
semi-Rabbi.
Doraisa.
With
Okay.
Doraisa, Rabbi cannot
Edim is
argue.
right.
So therefore, Rabbi, therefore, we are saying over here migo because migo against result you can say, migo against facts you cannot say. Abaya was talking about facts. Rabbi is talking about result. Against result you can say migo. We ask at the beginning
Wait,
why
before you
according.
continue, I want to ask a question what you were saying before. You're saying that there's a result here, right? You as the avata and the chila, but the guy that has the avata he also has a chila. So how does this guy have a migo? He could
No,
say the
there's
same
no-
migo and against him.
No, the migo works before they were mukhashim. Why they are connected? Before they were mukhashim. Okay? He has a chazaka and he has avotai.
He has avotai and chazaka.
Good. That's why you cannot separate them. If you're trying to separate them, it's not going to work.
One's connected with the other one.
That is proof that is one result.
I was thinking the whole time.
Your question is the proof.
So the guy doesn't have amigo.
No,
Exactly.
you're right. Why doesn't have amigo? Because of my chazaka. But before my chazaka, he has amigo?
Before your who's
Before my chazaka, if I have avutai and chazaka, if I wouldn't have my chazaka, would the guy be believed?
the other guy?
עדים.
כן.
במקום עדים.
So you see that avutai doesn't work by itself. You need the
Chazaka.
chazaka. So it's one result.
Yeah, why
That's
can't-
the riot.
yeah, why
Because
can't
of,
be the karka that connects them?
רגע, let me
Just
finish.
that,
לא, שלום, אל תעשה לי face. You got listen.
What do you do the migo
Because
bakara?
it's connected, that's why his migo would not work.
No. The migo would work if it
If you're just avotah in this
just avutai, the migo wouldn't work. נכון?
against the chazakah, you
יפה.
could have said I bought it for
So
him.
you see that the avutai levad, it's not a result by itself. In order to get the result, you need also the
other guy
chazaka.
needs
So it's one result. If it's one result, that's why Rove hold that everything is mukhash.
What do you do with the
מה
migo?
יגנבה את
Oh,
תביכה?
you're saying the whole result is mukhrash.
Yeah, if one, everything is mukhash. That's what מה שקשה לך זה הראייה.
Val means the karka that's connecting both.
זהו, כבר נגיע לסוף, זה כבר השלב הבא. Okay, now we ask, according to Rav Nachman, נכון? The question was, if Rav Nachman doesn't hold like Rove, who does Rav Nachman hold? Like
Abai.
Abaye, everything should be pasul, נכון?
Because Abai
Mistake.
says lemafreya and he says mikanu
This is
laba.
information according to Abaye, נכון? So we have an information, Abaye holds that information that were given on Nisan, okay, that were contradict on Tishrei, is pasul from Nisan and on. יפה?
No.
Pasul from
Le'aba.
Abaye, from Nisan and on. למפרע, from Nisan and on.
That's not mikanu. That's mikanu laba.
I'm not even talking about Mekan Labani right now.
Tesef on Nisan, and it was Mukhash on Tishrei later. It will pasul from Nisan. So that's the mafra according to Abaye. Now, according to Abaye, if he testifies something on Kislev, what would be the din?
Beseder.
נכון? It's okay, נכון? Only from Nisan, where he testified the information, will be pasul. In our case, Abaye holds it's two separate information. Rav Nachman holds that it's two separate information according to Rav Nachman. According to Rav, they're testifying on the facts. According to Rav Nachman, they're testifying on information. So I have information of Avutai here, and I have information of Chazaka, and then it was Mukhash. Yeah, the information of Chazaka is Mukhash, but the information of Avutai, it was
Not mukhrash.
before. Therefore, it's not Mukhash.
So Aaron,
According to Rav Nachman, it's beautiful.
holds like Abai.
Now the Gemara says, let's compare it. So let's compare it to the rest of the Gemara. Please tell us, how can you compare it to the Gemara later on when we see that it's one case? The comparison of the Gemara here, according to Ravo, here is one case, and later on it's two separate cases. Nachon? So the Tefes asks, if so, how, according to Ravo, if it's one case, how can you compare it to the Gemara later on that is two separate cases?
What's the one case? I mean the one
Here.
result.
Yeah, one result is one case. So it says the following. According to Rav Nachman, it's beautiful. Lama. Here we have two separate pieces of information. Okay? On the second information, it was Mukhash. On the prior one, not. The din is, believe in the previous one. That's exactly like Ravuna. Ravuna says, זו באה בפני עצמה ומעידה, וזו באה בפני עצמה. Later information, they can be okay. So to previous information, they can be okay. It has nothing to do with the other. Rav Chisda holds, Behadi shtadi shakre lamali. It says Rav Chisda,
Cover.
Rav Chisda holds, Behadi shtadi shakre lamali. What's Rav Chisda hold? Rav Chisda hold that all this edut over here, it's considered as people who create false. מה זה? בעד סטדי שקר למני? People who create false results. So according to Rav Chisda, we're talking about people who create false results. It shouldn't make any difference when the results happen before or after. As long as you have false result, you don't believe them.
Yeah, that's the result.
In our case, as long as you have false result, according to Rava, we don't believe them. So therefore it says, Leime Rove Sovar Kerav Chisde. It's true that it's two separate cases. But it's separate cases only on the perspective of Rav Nachman. The perspective of Rav Chisda, we're not dealing with the cases, we're dealing with Edim who create false result. Rove dealing with Edim who create
Any results.
false result. If so, Rove hold like Rav Chisda. And so the Gemara, you're right, it looks the same, but it's not the same. Why? Because bias, we're talking on one result. the case of Rav Chizda be talking on a separate result that's going to happen way later on. You cannot compare between one result, although Rav Nachman holds is the result, but he's not going to hold like Rav Chizda that the result makes the edim pasul. He's going to hold just the result. All of the result at this point will be pasul, but any result later on can be kasher by akhasha. So the Gemara, this was asked, what's the comparison of the Gemara? The comparison is really for Rav Nachman and for Rove. The Gemara understood that we're comparing the result over here are bad, the edim are bad. So therefore, like Rav Chizda, the edim are bad. The Gemara answered, no. That's leotai edut. I hold that any result in the same edut is bad, but leedut acheret, any other result would be fine. To summarize.
Can you explain
How does that
how
explain?
can you not compare compare one dude to another dude?
By which according to who?
You said you might think that it's the same, Rava and Rav Nachman, when it comes to comparing of the results.
Nachon.
But then you said the Gemara actually knocks that out. How?
So we try. The Gemara says there we're comparing result only on the same case.
Okay.
On two different cases, we don't compare results.
Oh, okay.
So to summarize, Tosfos holds
Before you do that,
Yeah.
on the last part, I didn't know
Wonder
about
why.
the last part.
the last part
You're
that
saying that the result is that you have a Ed
we
Zomer?
compare Rove to Rav Chizda. Just by Rove he hold that everything is bad because of the result. Also Rav Chizda hold that the edim are bad because they create a bad result. That should affect any future edut as well. Gemara answer no. Bias on the same result you will affect the whole edut, but on a different result will not affect the edut. And then summarize. So Abaye and Rove machloikes. According to Abaye, the way to understand, according to Abaye, it's the edut on the information, and therefore the information that was given later shows lemafrea that the information was given falsely, and there will be pasul lemafrea. According to Rove, the Abba Amina of the Gemara, it's also on the information. If you hold because of its ezomem chidushu, then it's a special chidush that we testify on the edim. We are not testifying on the information, and therefore we have no problem. We ask, it's also edut mukheshet. No, edut mukheshet, it's only information. Et zomem, it doesn't deal with the information, it deals with the edim. And therefore, if you hold it's chidushu, we have no problem, because if it's chidushu, it's only by chidush is mikan veleaba, but if there is no chidush, information, it should be pasul even before. But it is asked, since we hold the second lishna that we hold, mishum seda de lekochot, seda lekochot should take an effect anytime. So therefore, even by akhasha, you have the logic of seda de lekochot, not by azama. And since the information are contradicting other information, it's a question according to Rove, why in our case he says pasul lemafria. We see Rove hold that the only reason because of seda de lekochot we're saying, even though the information are contradicting, we are saying that the psul begins only later by Tishrei. How can we say bayaz that the pasul lemafria? So if you're going to answer me, says Tosfos, that bayaz, we have no bayaz, we have no pseda de lekochot, it should be pasul even lemafria. But we see by tvicha and mechira that even if you have no pseda de lekochot, you also not pasul lemafria, which means the old takana of chachamim on pseda de lekochot, they understand that the edut over here is not information and information, rather it's a result and another new result on Tishrei. Therefore, since we are not talking to the edim, we are not testifying on their information, we bring a new result that Shimon doesn't owe money, Reuven doesn't owe money to Shimon, therefore the new result occur on Tishrei. Anything that happened before has no relevance, and therefore mikan velehaba unifsad. And with that, I just want to finish it. And with that being said, Tosfos, if so, how come Rove holds like in our case, since you hold that is a dut on the result, why in our case he said it's pasule mafrea, as we see you hold it only mikan velehaba pasul? Come Rivo and answer, no, in our case, even though we have two separate cases, so you might compare the two, Gneva v'tvicha, but it's really not two separate cases. By Gneva v'tvicha, each testimony will create separate result, but in our case, Avutai, as is, will not create a result by itself, since I do have the other chazaka of the other guy. So therefore, Avutai, we thought that Avutai, it's two separated yod, but Avutai and Chazaka is not to separate. Since Avutai will not work without the chazaka, therefore is considered as one result. If it's one result, Rov going to hold that in one result everything will be pasul. That answers the question we asked. Why? How come they have a migo? They don't have a migo. They have a migo. They don't have a migo only according to Abaye that is about the information. The information will always be two separate information. Avutai is one information, and Chazakah is separate information. Then that's according to Abaye. According to Rove, the migo is not against result. I'm sorry. According to Abaye, migo it's against information, and you have no right to testify against reality. But according to Rava, migo it's against result. I can argue with the result with a migo. So therefore, the migo going to work over here. Then Tosfos asks, what's the comparison on the Gemara? The comparison on the Gemara that Rav Nachman will be like Ravuna. According to Rav Nachman, we mechadesh that even though you hold like Abaye, the Abaye din that you hold mikan lemafrea, it's up to the first information that found to be falsely. But since you hold, we have two separate informations over here. Avotai is one information, and the later information are the chazaka. Even though it was lemafrea goes up to the chazaka, not earlier than that. Therefore, you hold that it will be believed with the dut of avotav. That's exactly like Ravone. When you have two separate information, for that is not believed, what it was contradict, but for future it will be believed. Rove is like Rav Chizde. That since Rove hold that Edim himself, that all the dut itself will be pasul, the Gemara thought that Rav Chizde will be like Rove, that everything is pasul and we don't believe them anymore. For the Gemara answer, no. When Rove said everything is pasul, it's only in our case that we combine the two results together. But on a regular case, that we don't combine the result together, we don't hold. Rove can hold that for different result it will be believed.